to me, I always ask myself, like, when is it enough? Like, when are we gonna stop making excuses? Basically, all right, let's say you own a construction business, and you have, in this modern world, you have to feed your family. Your kids want new clothes, things like that. But at the same time, you're basically closing your eyes on the fact that, in order to build, let's say you're building commercial real estate, you're turning your back on the fact that, you're cutting down, crazy amount of trees. You're dealing with money that has blood stains all over it, and all these things. And it's like, when are we going to stop making excuses that, I have no other choice, I have to feed my family, I have to feed myself? And when are we actually going to stop making excuses and do something about it, man, and return back to the land, man? You know what I mean? Like personally speaking, man, because that question bothers me all the freaking time. Because there's actually a guy in Russia. He was in the 90s. He was a businessman, and he was a multimillionaire, and he was living in the most expensive area in Moscow. All of a sudden, overnight, he invests money into stock. He loses everything. He decides to move out into the country. Literally, him and his two kids, they sleep in a tent for like months. And now, this was like 10 years ago when he lost all this money and everything like that. And now this guy has like this huge organic community, that lives off the land completely. He teaches his sons and the next generation and all the kids. I think they're a community of 500 now. They teach them the proper way to live, as you were talking about. And, this guy made this move, man, and he did it. And even now in Russia, they have programs where, because, the land is so vast, that they're giving out free land and things like that. But personally, let's say you and me, when do we draw the line and say, yo, I'm messing up my freaking karma, man. I'm building up all these sins on my back. When do I stop and make this move, man, and get some balls not to be one of the slaves?
Yeah. One thing you said about him living in a tent, right? I think we can't become demoralized because, when you have food, shelter, raiment, be content. That's what Christ said. So even if other people view you as poor in terms of society, okay, right, you actually have more than a lot of people at that point. You have everything you need. You don't need more than that, right? So everything beyond that is a blessing. That's how I think it should be looked at to begin with, and get out of that whole comfortable, fat, spoiled kind of way of life,
Because they keep saying, science is excelling, and, we have all these comforts, you can put the switch on and have lights on. But it's like, dude, we're putting out crazy greenhouse gases, or whatever you want to call it, into the air. We're definitely polluting. You're driving this car that's not good at all for the greater good. And it's like, well, and then the person's like, well, whatever, one car is not going to do much, or, one light bulb is not going to do, TV's not. But it's like, when do we freaking draw the line, man?
Yeah.
We're completely destroying this world. And even, with all this shit that we're putting out into the atmosphere is actually going beyond the ozone layer. And it's even affecting, the planet. We're gonna eventually affect planets, in our solar system, man. I know it sounds completely insane, but I mean, shit, it's like, and it's so nice that to have someone else that thinks this way, because it's like you said, society looks at someone that, maybe living in a tent or whatever, and they're like, oh, this guy's poor. But to me, that person is a lot more morally wealthier than all these rich people, man.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you can just feel comfortable in your own skin, like I'm not, I'm living pure life, or to the best of my ability, and let's say I do die, and it's like, okay, well, it's not like here where, you have these corrupt jobs and you're doing all these questionable things for money, and you're afraid of judgment, you know, deep inside most people, because they're making excuses, they're justifying what they're doing. Like, I'm just doing my job at the end of the day is not an excuse for evil, but that is in most people's minds the case. Like most soldiers, like, or police or whatever, like, you know, they that comes out of their mouth all the time. You know, well, I'm just doing my job. Like, you know, I gotta feed my kids. Like, well, what, can't you do something else? Can't you, like, can't you, like, you know, cut down how much you're eating, and, you know, stop watching so much TV, and, you know, like, take all that energy you put into nonsense and destroying yourself and put it into freeing yourself. You know,
That's always a good excuse, man. I'm feeding my kids, but it's like, dude, you're leaving a much shittier world for your kids.
I mean, yeah, you're just teaching them how to be a slave all over again. You know, they're only going to repeat what you did. Like, oh, well, I had to kill for my children, and it's justified. And then your children see daddy's a killer, and they're going to be killers too at the end of the day.